Mine, most common question that I get probably, I don't know, for every shiur, I don't know, a few hundred times, it seems like. Emails, text messages, comments on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. People ask the same question over and over again. Why don't they teach this at yeshiva? Why don't they teach this in shul? Why don't they teach this in kollel? Why don't they teach this anywhere else? How come you're the first guy I ever heard say this? How come you're the second guy I ever heard say this? How come it's not 1,000 rabbanim screaming their lungs out with tears coming down their face, crying for Klal Yisrael, Hashem Yachem, Yom Mechalel Shabbat, Hashem's going to do this, Hashem's going to do that. That's really what it should be. In reality, it should be all of the rabbanim in the world crying 24 hours a day. That's really what we should be doing. Crying 24 hours a day for Klal Yisrael, because almost 80% are Mechalel Shabbat. Once a person's a Mechalel Shabbat, the rest of the Torah doesn't make a difference if he keeps it or not. If he dies a Mechalel Shabbat, even if he kept everything else, it's in the garbage. But there are also other 35 other issues that if he does those, doesn't make a difference even if he keeps Shabbat. One of them is wasting seed. A person wastes seed even if he keeps Shabbat. Nothing's going to help him. There are 36 specific sins where a person does them, has no share of the world to come unless he does tshuva. If he does tshuva, Baruch haba, Gan Eden, Olam haba, everything is good, we love you. But if a person commits these sins and does not do tshuva for them, no one can help him. No rabbi, no mekubal, no chassid, no nothing. Not his mom, not his dad, not his sister. It doesn't make a difference. He could be related directly to Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not going to help him. It's not going to help him. Why? Hashem said it in the Torah. In order for Hashem to change the Torah for you, it's not going to happen. He's going to make him a liar. So, in reality, people ask me, wait a minute, you're telling me there's 36 karet. 36 things that are karet. Karet means cut off from Olam haba. No Olam haba. You lend a Jew money, charge him interest, no Olam haba. You eat on Yom Kippur, no Olam haba. You eat chametz on Pesach, no Olam haba. Mechalel Shabbat, no Olam haba. And so on and so forth. The list goes on, scarier and scarier. So they ask me the same question. Why doesn't anybody else say this? Meaning, with the exception of Rav Mizrahi Sheikhye, Rav Zitron, a few others, that's it. If you calculate the percentages, it's an embarrassment. It's probably not, I would say, if I don't know how many rabbis speak English, I would say it's probably not even 1%. It's probably not even 1% of the rabbis actually say, Mechalel Shabbat, Mot Yumad, no Olam haba. This is the biggest tragedy in Judaism. In reality, someone that knows everything I just told you, because he read Masechet Shabbat, because he read Alchot Shabbat, because he just knows anything, he read Parashat Shavua, should cry for Am Yisrael. In reality, all of the rabbis should gather together and just cry. How long? Forever. Until everybody starts doing tshuva. That's what should happen. So we ask, how come they don't say this? Unfortunately, Rabotai, there are many, many reasons, and all of them are bad. There are many reasons why people don't say it, and all of them are bad. There's no legitimate excuse not to say it. Some of the reasons are monetary. Some of the reasons are political correctness and the desire to be popular. Some of the reasons are simply because they don't believe it themselves. There are actually some rabbis that themselves are most likely atheists. So, I can't tell you the reasons for every rabbi, but I can tell you, generally speaking, the people that find the truth, the people that hear these lectures, and decide that they have to do something about it, at some point along the way, usually in the beginning, they ask themselves, why didn't my rabbi say it? Why didn't somebody else tell me? Like, how come I never heard this? It's a very common question. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. One of the other reasons that, again, only through experience I had to learn this. My Rav told me this a long time ago, but again, these are some of the things that you're never going to, take to heart until you see it. And it's going to sound strange, stranger than the other things. Because if I told you, somebody's not going to tell you the truth because they want your money. And they know that if they tell you the truth, most likely you're not going to give them any money. you're not going to donate because they make you feel bad about yourself. So that's understandable. Every normal person understands this. People want to go to Tony Robbins. Why? He makes you feel good about yourself. People want to go to all these self-help gurus. Why? Because they make you feel good. People like to give money to things that make them feel good. Somebody tells you, by the way, you should do tshuva. That doesn't necessarily always make a person feel good. It makes them feel like they're lacking. So if I told you money is the reason, it's very easy to understand. If I told you political correctness is the reason, it's even easier to understand. Why? Because people are scared to say certain things because they want to be popular and they don't want to offend anyone. They're so scared about offending you and they're not really sure if you know or you don't know, so they're just going to pretend like it doesn't exist. These are things that are easy to understand. The part that was very hard for me to understand is that they simply are clueless. That the first darga of limud Torah, they don't have. We have 48 things that you have to have in order to acquire Torah. The first one was limud, Talmud, learning, dedicated learning. I don't know about all the rabbis, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that every single person that goes against the emet doesn't know what he's talking about at all. He's never finished the shas. He probably maybe doesn't even know what the shas is. He probably learned maybe a few parts of halachot Shabbat, but not the whole thing. Rambam, forget about it. Maybe he read like a few things on the internet. He read just enough to maybe pass a test, maybe not. Maybe he passed the test, maybe he didn't. What is it like? It's like you just passed the Regents in New York in chemistry, but you don't really know anything about chemistry. You just know enough to pass the test. You passed the test for your biology class, but in reality, if somebody told you to dissect a frog, you can start vomiting just thinking about it. Why? Because what's for you in biology? You're out of your mind. You just passed the math test or English test, but in reality, somebody tells you, can you teach it to somebody? It's like, teach what? No, what you just passed. No, it's all memory. I just remembered a few things and I passed the test. So what do you actually know? Nothing. As soon as you finish the test, deleted. Like a beeper. Like your voicemail messages that you don't want to answer, you just delete them. Same thing. Deleted. I am telling you, Rabotai, this was the hardest thing for me to understand. How can somebody be a manhig of a keilah, a rabbi, a so-called rabbi, sometimes a speaker, and not know anything? Until I started seeing it with my own eyes. And you start seeing some of the things that what these people are saying. I ask my rabbi all the time, is this in the Torah? He says, no. Is this in the Torah? No. Is that in the Torah? No. Where is it from? He goes, maybe in a comic book. Maybe he found it in a comic book, maybe in a newspaper. It's not in the Torah. And now, you can double check other rabbis, you can check other books. Not in Torah, not in Torah. Remember the whole thing that happened with Pittsburgh? You can't forget. That everybody cried out loud, oh, it's Kiddush Hashem, Kiddush Hashem. The Rambam said it's Kiddush Hashem. One rabbi said, I wanted to check, where is this Rambam? So I asked the rabbi that said on big screen, that's Kiddush Hashem, because the Rambam said it. And the rabbi said, I can't find it in the Rambam. So I called the rabbi, called him, hey, Kvod Harav, you said in your shiur, your Rosh Yeshiva, your Chashuv, Ish Chashuv. You're not like some Am Haaretz. You're a Rosh Yeshiva, a big Yeshiva. You're a big Rosh Yeshiva. You did a big shiur, thousands and thousands of views and so on. Shook up the world. You gave everybody the good feeling, good comforting in their stomach that it's Kiddush Hashem, they all died, right? Because you said the Rambam said it. Where is the Rambam? The Rosh Yeshiva responded, there is no such Rambam. But everybody thinks there's such a Rambam, so I said it. There's no Rambam that says that somebody that dies because he's a Jew is Kiddush Hashem. There's no such thing. We looked through the entire Rambam before we found this out, because we didn't know that this is actually happening. We looked ourselves, where Rambam doesn't exist. We said, oh, maybe there's some Rambam Ganuz, like there's a book of the Rambam that no one ever heard about, and he's the only one that has the copy. And he shared it with all the other ones that made a lecture about it. They're all there. It's, all these people, they have this Rambam except everybody else. Doesn't exist. Rabotai, the saddest thing for me, personally, was seeing this Talmud, this study, confirmation, come to life, where you realize that most people today simply don't know anything. Anything. They don't know that much more than a secular person. They don't know that much more than a person that just converted. Sometimes they know much less than a person that just converted. They don't know that much more than a Baal Tshuva of a few years that actually learns. And many times my Talmidim ask their rabbis about, oh, did you hear such and such? I heard it from Rabbi Reuven on a shiur. No, where is it? And he shows them, oh, wow, okay, nice. Okay, chidush, okay, that's good. It doesn't mean you have to know everything. But every week, I never heard this, never heard this, never heard. What did you hear then? What did you hear? So, this is not everybody, obviously. There are many Talmidei Chachamim in the world. But it doesn't seem like they're making many lectures. It seems like a lot of people that are steering people away from Yirat Shamayim are doing it with the same system, which is they're helping people stay ignorant because they're ignorant themselves. They don't know anything themselves. Because anyone that reads Torah immediately figures out, without being a big chacham, without having even a big rabbi, that Hashem wants you to fear Him. There's even certain mitzvot in the Torah that are purely based on fear. For example, the Gemara asks, why did Hashem create the thunder? Like, what good does a thunder do in the world? Like, lightning, you can say it is, maybe, I don't know, Hashem likes the way it looks. Or maybe He wants to show us how it looks. Or maybe it creates certain damage in the world that comes through lightning. Somebody gets hit by lightning, Hashem Yachem. Lightning can start fires. So you can start rationalizing there's a use in the world for lightning. But thunder, there's no use. What does thunder do? Scare you. That's the reason why He created it. That's the reason why He created it. That's what the Gemara says. Why did Hashem create thunder? To scare you. That's it. It's the only purpose it has in the world. World starts shaking, you feel like the whole thing is breaking. Perfect. Get scared. So, there are certain mitzvot like this. There are certain psukim in the Torah that Hashem says, what do I want from you other than to fear me? And so on and so forth. So anyone that actually reads Torah arrives at the same conclusion, which means that anyone that arrives at a different conclusion simply did not learn, which is the first requirement of this ketah.